My dear sisters, daughters, mothers, and all the incredible women listening today, you have no idea how powerful you truly are. The world often tells women to be quiet, be small, be pleasing. But I want you to remember something to the win. A woman decides to start her day with silence. She is not just beginning a routine, she is entering a sacred space where strength is born, peace is nurtured, and clarity is cultivated. Imagine early morning before anyone wakes up, before messages begin to flood the phone, before responsibilities start knocking on your door. The world is quiet, the sky is dim, and everything outside is still. In that small pocket of stillness, a woman has the chance to reconnect with herself, something she often forgets because life keeps her running in 1,000 directions. Many women wake up and immediately jump into action. The kitchen needs attention, the children are calling, work deadlines are waiting, or her mind is already racing with everything she has to do. But the truth is, when you start your day in chaos, the whole day continues like a fast, moving train that never allows you to breathe. This is why silence is not a luxury, it is a necessity. When you begin your day quietly, you reclaim control over your mind before the world takes it from you. Picture this: you sit down with your eyes closed, just you. No noise, no pressure, no expectations. At first you might think, what is this even doing for me? But slowly you begin to notice that silence is not empty. Silence is full of answers, full of peace, full of strength that you didn't even know you needed. You begin to hear the gentler voice within you, the one that gets overshadowed by daily stress. That inner voice gives guidance, direction, and a sense of safety. It tells you, you can handle today, you are capable, everything will work out. Think about a phone. If you don't charge it at night, the battery drains quickly during the day. The same happens to a woman who wakes up and instantly starts giving her energy to everyone else. She becomes exhausted, irritated, and overwhelmed because she never paused to charge herself. Morning silence is your personal charging time. Even 5 minutes of stillness can refill your emotional battery in a way nothing else can. In many homes, women are expected to multitask constantly. But have you ever noticed that when you start your day with stress, even small problems feel huge? A simple remark from someone feels like an attack. A delayed plan feels like a disaster. A tiny inconvenience feels like a burden. But when you begin your day with quiet reflection, patience grows naturally. Your mind becomes calmer, your reactions become softer, and your perspective becomes wiser. Silence makes you respond, not react, and that difference transforms everything. Let me give you a simple daily life example. Imagine a woman who wakes up, rushes to prepare breakfast, hustles the kids to school, speeds through traffic, and enters work already mentally exhausted. The first person who irritates her becomes a trigger. The first problem looks impossible. The first mistake feels like the end of the world. Now imagine the same woman waking up just 10 minutes earlier, sitting quietly with her breath, listening to soft morning sounds, or simply connecting with her thoughts. That one simple habit changes the way she carries herself all day. Her tone becomes more composed, her decisions more thoughtful, and her heart more peaceful. Silence also helps you understand your emotions before they spill onto others. Many women carry emotional weight from yesterday: hurt, disappointment, frustration, or confusion. When you sit in silence, you get the time to observe those emotions instead of dragging them unconsciously through the day. You allow yourself to say, "Yes, I felt hurt yesterday, but today I will choose peace." It is in silence that healing begins. Some women say, "I don't have time for silence." But the truth is, silence is not something you find time for. It is something you make time for because you understand its value. You don't need an hour. You don't need a perfect environment. You don't need an expensive ritual. You just need a few minutes of being present. A quiet corner in your room, a moment after you wake up, a small break before the world starts seeking your attention. In silence, you remember that you are more than your responsibilities. You are more than your to-do list. You are a soul, a human being with emotions, dreams, fears, and strengths. Silence reconnects you with that inner identity. It allows you to start your day from a place of strength instead of stress. Life will always be noisy. People will always need you. Work will always demand your time. Problems will always come. But when your inner world is calm, your outer world becomes easier to handle. Silence becomes your inner sanctuary where you gather your wisdom, your patience, and your energy before stepping into the world. So start your morning with silence. Not because it makes life perfect, but because it makes you prepared. Not because it stops challenges from coming, but because it empowers you to face them with grace. A calm morning creates a powerful woman, and a powerful woman changes not just her life, but the lives of everyone connected to her. Many women speak kindly to the world, but harshly to themselves. They encourage others, motivate others, uplift others. But when it comes to their own inner dialogue, they become their biggest critic. The words you speak to yourself shape your identity more deeply than anything anyone else could ever say. You may talk to the world once or twice a day, but you talk to yourself every single moment. Your inner voice never sleeps. It tells you whether you are enough, whether you are worthy, whether you are capable. And sadly, many women allow this voice to become their enemy rather than their companion. Think about how often you say things to yourself like, "I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm a failure. I can't do this. I'm behind in life." These words, repeated again and again, don't just stay in your mind. They seep into your heart and slowly become your belief system. The truth is, the world outside is already difficult enough. You should never become an enemy to your own soul on the inside. Imagine a plant. If you keep pouring polluted water into it, how will it ever grow into something beautiful? Your mind is that plant. And the words you speak to yourself are the water. Many women compare themselves with unrealistic standards. Someone else's beauty, someone else's talent, someone else's progress, someone else's social media life. And the more they compare, the more they criticize themselves. But comparison is a thief. It steals joy, confidence, and peace. Self-kindness, however, gives back everything comparison takes away. When you speak gently to yourself, when you treat yourself with compassion, you transform from the inside out. Let's consider a daily life example. Imagine a woman who wakes up late one day. She immediately starts scolding herself. "I'm so lazy. I can't even manage my time. What's wrong with me?" That negativity spreads into her entire morning. She feels irritated while managing the kids. She loses patience in traffic. She feels unconfident at work. And by afternoon, her whole day feels ruined. Not because she woke up late, but because of how she spoke to herself about it. Now imagine the same woman waking up late, but responding differently. It's okay. My body must have needed rest. I'll manage the day with calmness. Suddenly, she feels more balanced, more composed, more centered. Her day is not controlled by guilt or frustration, but by acceptance and kindness. This is the power of self-talk. It changes your experience of life without changing the circumstances. There are women who make one mistake and hold it against themselves for years. They replay it again and again in their minds, punishing themselves long after the world has forgotten about it. But what if they chose to speak kindly? What if they said, "Yes, I made a mistake, but I learned, I grew, I'm better today"? A woman who forgives herself becomes lighter. A woman who speaks kindly to herself becomes stronger. Sometimes we think being harsh on ourselves will make us disciplined or motivated. But in reality, harshness usually breaks a person from the inside. Kindness, however, strengthens them. You wouldn't scream at a child for falling while learning to walk. So why do you scream at yourself for falling while learning to live? Imagine another scenario. A woman applies for a job but doesn't get selected. The first inner voice says, "You're not good enough. You will always fail." And if she believes that voice, she stops trying. But if she speaks kindly, she will tell herself, "Maybe this wasn't the right fit. Maybe I need to prepare more. Maybe something better is waiting for me." Such words don't just heal, they inspire. They push her forward instead of pulling her down. Speaking kindly to yourself is not self-delusion, it is self-respect. It is you saying, "I deserve love from others, yes, but also from myself." Women give love so naturally to everyone, yet forget to offer even a drop of it to their own hearts. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot empower others while emotionally starving yourself. Self-kindness fills your cup so that you can give without breaking. Think of the mind like a room. If you fill it with negative voices, it becomes dark, suffocating, and cold. But when you speak kindly, it's like opening the window. You let the sunlight in. You feel warmth, clarity, and hope. The room doesn't change, but the light changes everything inside it. There are days when a woman feels exhausted, not physically, but emotionally. On those days, the kindest thing she can say to herself is, "It's okay to rest. It's okay to slow down. I am doing my best." These small sentences act like healing balms on the wounds that no one else can see. A woman who talks kindly to herself becomes more confident. She doesn't wait for validation. She doesn't break at criticism. She doesn't fear judgment. Her strength comes from within, not from the applause outside. And when she walks into a room, people can feel her presence, not because she is loud, but because she is centered, confident, peaceful. So speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. Encourage yourself the way you encourage your best friend. Forgive yourself the way you forgive the people close to you. Because the relationship you have with yourself is the longest, deepest, and most important relationship of your life. And when you speak kindly to yourself, you transform your mind, your heart, and your destiny. Protecting your energy is one of the greatest acts of self-respect a woman can practice. Every day, the world pulls you in 100 directions. People want your attention, your time, your effort, your love, your support, your patience. But not everyone comes with good intentions, and not every situation deserves your peace. If a woman does not learn to guard her emotional space, the world drains her long before she realizes it. And once her energy is drained, even the smallest tasks begin to feel heavy, the simplest issues feel unbearable, and the tiniest comments feel painful. Many women grow up believing that saying yes makes them kind, noble, or strong, but the truth is that constantly saying yes often leads to exhaustion, resentment, and emotional burnout. Protecting your energy does not make you selfish, it makes you wise. It means you understand that your peace is valuable, your time is precious, and your emotional stability matters. Think of your energy like the fuel in a vehicle. If you keep driving without refilling, the car doesn't stop because it's broken, it stops because it's empty. In the same way, a woman who keeps giving without boundaries doesn't fall apart because she is weak, she collapses because she is drained. And a drained woman can't love properly, think clearly, or live fully. Let's take a simple daily life example. Imagine a woman who has a colleague that constantly complains, gossips, or brings negative energy. Every day she listens out of politeness, but after these conversations, she feels heavy, discouraged, or irritated. Over time, this emotional weight begins to drain her happiness. Now imagine if she learned to gently step away from these conversations, to excuse herself respectfully, to limit the time she spends with people who only take and never give. Suddenly, she feels lighter, her mind becomes clear, her heart becomes calmer. This is not rude, this is self-care. There are people who pull you into unnecessary arguments just to prove a point. There are relatives who criticize everything you do, friends who only call when they need something, and acquaintances who drain your spirit with their constant negativity. Protecting your energy means understanding that you don't need to fight every battle. Not every comment needs a reply. Not every opinion needs your attention. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Sometimes, peace is more important than proving you're right. Think of a phone again. You don't keep apps running in the background because they drain the battery. Yet many women keep toxic conversations, painful memories, or hurtful people running in the background of their minds all day long. These silent drains consume emotional energy without you noticing. The moment you start removing these drains, by setting boundaries, by refusing to participate in drama, by walking away from negativity, you begin to feel alive again. Another example, a woman might receive a hurtful message or a rude comment. Her instinct may be to reply quickly, defend herself, or argue. But later she realizes that the argument changed nothing. It only stole her peace for the day. Protecting your energy sometimes means choosing silence over reaction. It means reminding yourself that your peace is more precious than someone else's opinion. When someone throws negativity at you, you don't have to catch it. You don't have to carry it. You don't have to let it live in your heart. A powerful woman is not one who confronts everything. She is one who knows what is worth confronting and what is not. She chooses her battles with wisdom. She does not waste her emotional strength on things that do not matter in the long run. She saves her energy for the people she loves, the dreams she values, and the life she is building. Protecting your energy also means stepping away from situations that drain your spirit. If a conversation leaves you anxious, reduce it. If a relationship leaves you broken, distance yourself. If a place makes you feel small, stop visiting. If a habit steals your peace, quit it. Your soul always knows what drains you. Listen to it. Your intuition is one of God's greatest gifts. It warns you before your mind understands why. Many women feel guilty when they set boundaries. They fear disappointing others. But here is the truth. When you protect your energy, you disappoint others for a moment, but save yourself for a lifetime. You are not responsible for how others react to the boundaries you set. You are only responsible for protecting your well-being. A woman who loves herself enough to guard her peace becomes a force of nature. She becomes emotionally strong, mentally sharp, and spiritually grounded. Imagine coming home after a long day. Would you leave your front door wide open for strangers to walk in? Of course not. So why leave your heart open for anyone to dump their negativity inside? Your emotional space is your home. Not everyone deserves a key. Not everyone deserves access. Not everyone deserves to stay. A woman who protects her energy is not hard-hearted. She is wise-hearted. She knows that to shine brightly, she must protect the flame. She knows that preserving her peace is not an act of ego, but an act of survival. She knows that her energy is sacred, and she treats it with the same respect she gives to others. Protect your peace like a priceless treasure. Guard your energy like a sacred gift. Because when you protect your energy, you don't just save yourself, you transform yourself, you rise, you heal, you grow. You become the woman you were always meant to be. Gratitude is one of the simplest habits, yet one of the most transformative powers a woman can bring into her life. Many people think gratitude is something you practice only when something big happens. When you get a promotion, when you receive a gift, when something lucky occurs. But true gratitude is not about big moments. It is about recognizing the small miracles that are happening every single day, often unnoticed, often unappreciated, but still present, still precious. A grateful woman lives her life with a different lens, not because her life is perfect, but because she chooses to focus on what is already blooming rather than what is missing. Gratitude does not eliminate problems, but it strengthens the heart to face them with grace. It turns an ordinary day into a meaningful one, and challenges into opportunities for growth. Think about a typical morning. A woman wakes up and immediately her mind starts listing everything she must do. Prepare breakfast, get the kids ready, rush to work, complete tasks, handle responsibilities. In the rush, she forgets to pause and appreciate the fact that she woke up healthy, that she has a home, that she has people who depend on her because she matters, that the sun has risen again, giving her another chance to live, love, and grow. Gratitude is not a ritual, it is a way of seeing life with open eyes and an open heart. Many women compare their lives with others, saying, I wish I had this. I wish my life looked like hers. I wish things were different. But gratitude teaches you to say, I am thankful for what I already have. This doesn't mean you stop striving or growing. It simply means you acknowledge the blessings that are present today instead of waiting for tomorrow to feel happy. Imagine a woman sitting in a small room, wishing her house was bigger. Every day, she complains about lack of space. But across the street lives someone who would give anything just to have a roof, just to have four walls, just to have a place to sleep safely. Gratitude shifts your perspective from dissatisfaction to appreciation. It reminds you that what you call ordinary is someone else's prayer. Another simple example: a woman might cook daily and feel irritated, thinking, again I have to cook, again I have to clean. But gratitude says, I have food to cook, I have a family to feed, I have hands that can work. I am blessed with the ability to give nourishment. Gratitude turns burdens into blessings because it changes the intention behind actions. Gratitude also rewires the mind. When you focus on what is wrong, the mind becomes heavy, anxious, and stressed. But when you focus on what is right, the mind becomes light, hopeful, and peaceful. A grateful heart cannot be bitter. A bitter heart cannot be grateful. These two states cannot live together. So every time you choose to appreciate something, even something small, you are choosing peace over pain. Let us consider another moment from daily life. A woman might feel frustrated because things aren't going as planned. But then she sits down for a moment of gratitude. I am grateful I have a job. I am thankful my children are safe. I appreciate the friends who love me. I am grateful for my health, my breath, my ability to walk, to think, to learn. Suddenly, her mind settles. Her heart softens. Her perspective shifts. The problems are still there, but the weight of the problems becomes lighter because gratitude doesn't remove difficulties. It adds strength to your soul. Gratitude also improves relationships. When you appreciate your spouse, your parents, your children, even in small ways, love deepens naturally. Many conflicts arise not because people stop loving each other, but because they stop appreciating each other. A simple thank you can heal what 1,000 arguments cannot. When you express gratitude, you nourish the bond, and when you receive gratitude, you feel valued and seen. Even the challenges in life can become sources of gratitude. Not because pain feels good, but because pain often teaches the lessons that comfort never will. A woman might look back and say, that difficult phase made me stronger. That heartbreak taught me self-respect. That setback guided me to a better path. Gratitude has the power to transform wounds into wisdom. But gratitude must be practiced daily, not occasionally. When you regularly thank life for the blessings you already have, your heart becomes more peaceful and your mind becomes more positive. You begin to realize that happiness is not something you chase, it is something you cultivate, and gratitude is the soil where happiness grows. Before sleeping at night, imagine a woman thinking about her day. Instead of recalling everything that went wrong, she remembers 3 things that went right. Maybe someone smiled at her. Maybe she finished a task she had been delaying. Maybe she enjoyed a quiet moment with her tea. Small things, but meaningful. And with that gratitude, she sleeps peacefully. She rests with a heart that is light, not heavy. This practice alone can transform her emotional world. A grateful woman walks with grace. She radiates warmth. She appreciates life, and in return, life opens more doors for her. Gratitude is like a magnet. What you appreciate, appreciates. The more thankful you are, the more reasons life gives you to be thankful. So embrace gratitude not as a habit, but as a lifestyle. See every moment as a blessing, every breath as a gift, and every day as an opportunity. Gratitude will not just change your day, it will change the way you experience life itself. There is a certain glow that appears in a woman's life the moment she makes self care a priority, not a luxury, not something she does once a month when she is free, not something she squeezes into leftover minutes, but something she chooses intentionally because she understands that taking care of herself is not selfish. It is essential. A woman who cares for herself radiates differently. Her energy feels lighter, her presence feels calmer, and her heart feels more open. The world sees the difference even before she does. Many women are raised with the belief that they must put everyone else first. The family, the children, the spouse, the work, the relatives. And while caring for others is a beautiful virtue, they often forget one fundamental truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If your body is tired, your mind is overloaded, and your heart is drained, then even your love becomes heavy, your patience becomes short, and your smile becomes forced. When you take care of yourself, you become a better mother, a better partner, a better friend, a better professional, and most importantly, a better version of yourself. Consider a simple example from daily life. A woman wakes up early, immediately starts working in the kitchen, then rushes to pack lunches, get the kids ready, handle household tasks, then rushes to her job, works through exhaustion, comes home and cooks, cleans, guides homework, solves problems. And by the end of the day, she collapses on the bed without a single minute for herself. Over time, she begins to feel invisible, overwhelmed, and emotionally numb because she has neglected the most important person in her life, herself. But imagine the same woman choosing just 20 minutes every morning or night to do something that refreshes her soul, maybe sitting with a cup of tea in silence, taking a peaceful walk, listening to her favorite devotional music, writing her thoughts in a journal, or simply closing her eyes and breathing deeply. That small act gives her mental clarity, emotional balance, and physical nourishment. She becomes more patient, more composed, more centered. Her entire day flows differently because she started it by honoring herself. Self-care is not always about spas, beauty treatments, or vacations. It is about emotional maintenance. It is about doing small things daily that keep your inner world healthy. Sometimes self-care looks like saying no to things that drain your energy. If a woman keeps agreeing to tasks she does not have the capacity for, she eventually feels resentment. But when she says, "I can't do this right now," she is not being rude. She is protecting her mental health. Sometimes self-care looks like taking a break, even when there is work left to do. There are women who keep pushing through exhaustion thinking, "If I don't do it, who will?" But taking a break allows the body to reset, the mind to settle, and the heart to breathe. You are not a machine. You are a human being deserving of rest. Sometimes self-care looks like forgiving yourself for your mistakes. Many women hold on to guilt for things they did years ago. They punish themselves long after life has moved on. But self-care means reminding yourself, "I am human, I am learning, I am growing." Sometimes self-care looks like choosing healthy boundaries. If someone constantly disrespects you, manipulates you, or drains you emotionally, self-care means stepping back. Distance is not disrespect, sometimes it is protection. Sometimes self care looks like allowing yourself to feel your emotions instead of suppressing them. A woman who never gives herself space to cry, to reflect, to heal, eventually reaches a point where even small issues feel unbearable. But when she allows herself to release her emotions, she becomes lighter. Tears are not weakness, they are cleansing. And sometimes self care is as simple as doing something you love without feeling guilty, reading a book, cooking your favorite meal, watching a comforting show, enjoying a hobby, or spending time in nature. These moments feed the soul. Picture another daily life moment. A woman comes home tired from work. Her mind feels heavy, her body is exhausted. Her instinct might be to immediately start cooking or cleaning. But instead, she sits quietly for 10 minutes, closes her eyes, breathes deeply, and lets her thoughts settle. Those 10 minutes give her more energy than an hour of forced work. Self-care is not time wasted, it is time invested. It is planting seeds of peace inside yourself so you can live more meaningfully. Self-care also teaches you that you are worthy of love, not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are. Many women measure their worth through sacrifice. They think, if I keep giving, I am valuable. But the truth is, you are valuable even when you rest. You are valuable even when you pause. You are valuable even when you take time for yourself. A woman who practices self-care does not break easily. She carries strength not because she is hard, but because she is healed. She handles challenges not with panic but with patience. Her mind becomes clearer, her decisions become wiser, and her emotions become steadier. And the beauty of it is that when a woman takes care of herself, she inspires others to do the same. Her daughters learn from her friends learn from her. Even the people around her feel calmer because her energy becomes peaceful. Self-care is not an act of luxury, it is an act of survival. It is an act of love. It is an act of honoring the incredible soul within you. When you give yourself time, attention, and kindness, you reconnect with your own strength. And when you reconnect with your strength, you begin to live a life that feels less like a burden and more like a blessing. Emotional honesty is one of the most courageous acts a woman can practice. Yet it is also one of the most rewarding. Many women hide their true feelings behind smiles, laughter, or polite nods, thinking that showing vulnerability is a weakness. They say, I'm fine. When their hearts are heavy, it's okay. When the pain is deep, or I'll manage. When they are actually struggling inside. But the truth is, denying your emotions does not make them disappear. They linger, quietly influencing your decisions, your energy, your relationships, and your happiness. A woman who faces her emotions with honesty becomes free. She becomes strong. She becomes alive. Think about a typical day. A woman wakes up, puts on a cheerful face, and goes about her responsibilities. She handles children, manages work, supports her spouse, and tries to meet everyone's expectations. By evening, she may feel exhausted, frustrated, or sad, but instead of acknowledging these feelings, she buries them. She tells herself she is being strong or selfless, but the unexpressed emotions silently weigh her down. Over time, these suppressed emotions manifest as stress, anxiety, irritability, or even physical discomfort. Emotional dishonesty may feel easier in the moment, but it is a slow, invisible thief of peace. Now imagine a woman who practices emotional honesty. She begins by acknowledging her feelings, even the uncomfortable ones. If she is sad, she allows herself to feel the sadness. If she is angry, she names the anger without shame. If she is hurt, she admits the hurt instead of masking it. This acknowledgement is not about blaming others or dwelling on pain. It is about giving her inner world the respect it deserves. Emotional honesty is a quiet courage, the courage to face yourself before facing the world. Let me give you a real life example. A woman comes home after a long day at work and feels hurt because a colleague ignored her effort on a project. Instead of pretending everything is fine, she takes a moment to recognize her feelings. I feel hurt. I expected acknowledgement, and it was missing. By naming the emotion, she does not let it fester. She can decide how to respond wisely, whether to communicate her feelings calmly or to let it go without resentment. This small act of honesty saves her from carrying bitterness home to her family, from letting frustration ruin her evening, and from clouding her mind with negativity. Emotional honesty also helps a woman understand herself better. Many women go through life reacting to situations automatically, never pausing to reflect. Why did this upset me? When you are honest with your feelings, you begin to uncover patterns, triggers, and unmet needs. You start recognizing which relationships nurture you and which drain you, which environments uplift you, and which weigh on your spirit. This self-awareness becomes a compass, guiding you toward healthier choices and deeper happiness. Consider another example. A woman often says yes to friends or family because she fears disappointing them, even when she feels exhausted. Deep inside, she may feel resentment, irritation, or fatigue, but she continues to push through. Emotional honesty allows her to acknowledge her limits, to say, I am tired and I cannot do this today. This honesty does not make her selfish, it makes her wise. She protects her energy, maintains her emotional balance, and models self-respect for everyone around her. Many women fear that expressing true emotions will make them seem weak or unlovable. The truth is exactly the opposite. A woman who is emotionally honest is profoundly strong. She does not suppress feelings to maintain an illusion of control. She faces the truth and learns to navigate it. Her courage inspires trust, empathy, and respect from others. People are drawn to honesty because it feels genuine, safe, and human. Emotional honesty creates authenticity, and authenticity attracts meaningful connections. Even small daily acts count. If a woman feels disappointment, she allows herself a few moments to cry or reflect, instead of immediately pretending everything is fine. If she feels joy, she celebrates it fully without guilt. If she feels fear or anxiety, she names it instead of ignoring it. Life is not a series of perfect emotions, and pretending it is robs you of the richness of living. Emotional honesty is the bridge between suppression and liberation, between false strength and true resilience. Moreover, emotional honesty heals relationships. Many misunderstandings and conflicts arise not because people are inherently unkind, but because emotions are left unspoken. A woman who communicates her feelings calmly, clearly, and honestly prevents small tensions from escalating into long-term pain. She fosters empathy, encourages open dialogue, and sets a standard of respect for herself and others. Emotional honesty is not just self-care, it is relationship care. Finally, practicing emotional honesty allows a woman to be in tune with herself spiritually. When you hide emotions, your heart feels heavy and the mind restless. When you acknowledge and process emotions, you create space for inner peace, reflection, and growth. You are no longer running from yourself, you are embracing yourself. You are no longer reacting unconsciously, you are responding with awareness. And in this awareness, you discover the strength, wisdom, and resilience that were always within you. A woman who is emotionally honest transforms her life from inside out. She becomes lighter, freer, and more present. She can love without fear, speak without hesitation, and live without regret. Emotional honesty is not easy, but it is the path to a heart that is unburdened, a mind that is clear, and a soul that is truly alive.